Welcome to an episode of Chat Sports Talk, and welcome to Week 9 of the college football season. That's right, we're right up to Week 9, and we've seen some excellent teams going at it. Heavyweights are looking to try to make a claim for themselves. Georgia's looking to try to be the first three-peat champion in quite some time. So far, they've really had any roadblocks to their season thus far. We'll see what happens with that greatest outdoor cocktail party. What happens there? But people say if they win out, they're probably in. The winner of Michigan, Ohio State, whoever wins out from there, probably in. You could probably put Washington in. And I'll probably put Oklahoma over Florida State. Just because of the programs that Washington and Oklahoma beat, with Oregon and Texas. Put them slightly ahead of LSU, but I would not take anything away from LSU nor Florida State. This is going to be a hard decision for a Final Four. And one of the reasons why we're going to 12. But that's future talk. That's not anytime soon. Mentioning future talk, the American Athletic has fully extended a football invitation to Army. That's just something I'm saying will not happen. They will not keep the two military academies together because they want to keep their games separate. Well, they have. The Army-Navy game is still the last game of the season. It's a non-conference game between these two. Army still has their November date with Air Force locked as well. But if Army and Navy finish 1-2 in the American, they will face off in back-to-back weeks. They will face off for the American Championship and then face off again for the Commander Chief's Trophy. That's what they came up with. Now, I understand the reason why they went after Army. Because they were trying to grab a program that's not going to rock the boat for football only. That's Army, UConn, and UMass. Well, you take UMass out because they've not really had a successful program since they jumped up, I think maybe once. I think UMass probably be better suited if they drop back down and try to find a conference where they can actually compete. UConn was already a member, and they had a bitter divorce. So there was no way that was going to happen again. UConn went scorched earth when they left the American, so there's no reconciliation there. And I think UConn, UMass should then become football-only members for the MAC at this point in time. So that just leaves Army. Army makes good sense. They've had quality teams. So... I mean, like I said, it totally makes sense. I really want them to have a Western-based team, but who do you go after? Louisiana Tech, Arkansas State. I mean, they're not going to go down to FCS ranks to pull up a team. And for my betting money, I've been Delaware because just to give Temple someone close by outside of football, because once you go to the basketball season. Temple's all by themselves. The closest team is East Carolina and Greenville, North Carolina. It's 2 states away. Anyways, but yeah, I got proven wrong once again with those realignment scenarios. It happens. I can admit my defeat there, but Army will be jumping to the American next year once SMU leaves for the ACC. This conference realignment makes no dang sense. But anyways, back to why you're here. Preview and predictions. Last week, I went 8-4 once again and did extremely well. I like this mark. I think it's the mark I'm going to go for from here on out. So let's start off these fiascos at Raleigh, where NC State will play host to Clemson. Both 4-3 programs both struggling right now to kind of make their mark. I think they both will get bowl eligible eventually. But right now, Clemson had a terrible performance against Miami. They couldn't get anything right. NC State's been all over the place. So right now, I'm looking more at Clemson to kind of set the pace. I think Klubnik's going to try to find ways to rebound himself. Shipley's going to try to find ways to become more a dominant running back. And right now, Clemson's favored by 10. I may not go that far, but I will definitely take the Tigers to win in Raleigh. Then we head out to Jacksonville, where the Florida-Georgia annual bash is happening over there at Everbank Stadium, where the #1 Bulldogs, undefeated, looking to take on upstart 5-2 Florida Gators. This should be entertaining. A highly contested matchup between these two. I think Florida's going to give them more than they can handle prior to that first half. I wouldn't be surprised if Florida's actually leading this game at half. But I think that's where it would end. I think Georgia will come out second half, establish dominance, and never look back. Georgia's favored by 14.5. I'll push that back to about 10, but I will take the Bulldogs to beat Florida, pretty much guaranteeing their slot in Atlanta. And we'll just kind of see how things kind of roll from there for the Dogs. Then we head to Austin, where the 7th-ranked Longhorns take on Big 12 newcomer BYU, who is 5-2, right now 2-2 in conference play. And BYU is still trying to maintain some relevance of trying to stay up in that upper echelon for a possible trip to Arlington. Ewers is probably more likely out for this game. Can Texas survive? Yes, they can. Because if all else fails, they can always go to a Manning. So there's a quarterback there in place. Right now, Texas favored by 19. I don't think it's going to be that much. I do think that Texas will win quite handily. I'll probably go more of a 14 route. I think BYU should make it somewhat entertaining. But then again, BYU could just go there and just go flat. But I think Texas is just too talented right now to not overlook, give it to the Longhorns. Then we head up to Salt Lake City, where 13th-ranked Utes play host to 8th-ranked Ducks of Oregon in a huge matchup in the Pac-12. These are both of the 3-1 mark schools looking to try to be the leading #2, because right now I think Washington's going to be the lock if they continue this trajectory that they're going. Be a lock for Vegas. These two teams are trying to find ways to make themselves relevant. Oregon wants that rematch. We'll kind of see how things kind of pan out. You still got USC in the mix and a couple other programs as well. And can Bo Nix handle the Utes' defense? I think he's be able to. I think Utah's going to be over their heads a little bit in this game. Right now, Oregon's favored by 6.5. I think Bo Nix and Irving is going to find ways to establish dominance, maintain an arm's length distance between themselves and Utah throughout the game. I like the 6.5. Let's go Ducks. Now we head out to the Lou, where the 18th-ranked Louisville Cardinal play host to 20th-ranked Duke Blue Devils. Now this one should be interesting because both teams actually taken on Notre Dame already this year, and both had some levels of success against the Irish, especially running the ball and a great defense. The only difference is Louisville was able to pick off Hartman, which no other team was able to do to that point. And they beat Notre Dame. The only team that would do that is Ohio State. So right now, everything is pointing towards the Cardinals. Duke is not going to be a slouch. You will not be able to roll these guys over. I think Louisville's defense is a little more tenacious, have a little bit more teeth to the bite. These Cardinals are angry. And I think Plummer's going to have a field day. If he can limit his interceptions, Louisville should have no problem navigating this Duke defense. This Duke defense is no joke either. That will test the Cardinals. Right now, Louisville's favored by 4.5. Kind of like that. I know it's an odd number to kind of throw out there, but I think it's going to be just one of those weird games, and I'll take the Cards over the Devils in this one as well. Next time we head out to Fort Collins as Colorado State will play host to undefeated Air Force. That's right, undefeated Air Force. 7-0, 19th ranked, leading the Mountain West. It's been a long time since Air Force has been on the top of the conference standings for a chance to win the conference. But they are just continuing to do that. They don't win pretty. It's not pretty at all. It's gritty. I think that's how they won it. But Colorado State's going to be a very hard test. They took UNLV to the limit. They've taken Colorado to the limit. So they're not going to be easy out at all. Right now, Air Force is favored by 14. As much as I'd love to see Air Force win by that, they won't. This is going to be close. In-state rivals that have really developed as true hatred for each other since the old days of the WAC. And the WAC used to be a top Division I football conference before it's collapsed. It has now gone through Phoenix and has rebirthed itself, but I'm still going to go with Air Force. It's not going to be 14. It's probably going to be like the 4-5 range, because I think it's just going to be a weird plays here and there, but I think the Falcons should be able to squeak out a win against the Rams. And Tennessee taking on another heated rival as they head to Lexington to take on their cross-state foes, the Wildcats of Kentucky. And both schools had disappointing weeks last week. Tennessee had Alabama on the ropes, and they couldn't close it out. Possibly referees, but also a lot of done penalties that the Volunteers did as well. Kentucky just got overwhelmed by Mizzou, and with these two being 2-2 in the East, I mean, if Georgia wins, you might as well just go ahead and just put Georgia into Atlanta. So it doesn't really make sense. It's just more or less pecking order in terms of postseason play, I guess, and just the glory of beating your rival. Right now, Tennessee's favored by 3.5. I mean, all eyes poured towards Milton III having a decent game. I mean, he's had a very good season, over 16 yards passing, 12 touchdowns, only 4 picks. So he's been very good, a very efficient passer. But can Davis really take the Wildcats running game to the next level? He has over 780 yards, 8 touchdowns. He is a force de jour for that Wildcats offense, and he gets going. That really dictates the pace of the game. It will help dictate how the game will go. Tennessee's defense is not going to try to allow this. Very staunch supporters of that one. And everything's pointing towards Tennessee. My talk's pointing towards Tennessee. I'm taking Kentucky. I don't know. It's just one of these games that, I think can go either way. I really do. I'm going to take the home team in this one. I think being there, Kroger Field, seeing the sea of blue will be enough for the Wildcats to topple the rival Volunteers. Then we head over to Madison, Wisconsin, in a possible Big Ten championship matchup between Ohio State and Wisconsin. Wisconsin's quality put together a nice little run of wins and got themselves in a very good position right now in standings in the Big 12 West Division. 3-1, sitting on top, 5-2 overall. Ohio State, being Ohio State as usual, had no, out-dueled Penn State. Pretty much their first true test of the season. I think it's test Notre Dame was their first test. Penn State was the second test. Here's the third test. Yes, Wisconsin's going to be a test. Wisconsin's going to try to come out with new tricks, new schemes, and running attack that will test that Buckeyes defense. But can the Buckeyes offense find ways to negate with the Badgers defense? I don't know. Right now, when I'm recording this video, Ohio State's favored by 14.5. I'm halfway tempted to say take the points for Wisconsin. I think that's a travesty that they don't think Wisconsin has much of a chance. I think it's going to be closer in that one. I think it's going to be like a 10-12 game. But, that's where I think it's going to be at. I think Wisconsin will make it a fight for a while, but Ohio State's one of these grungy teams that just find a way to win it in the end, and I think they'll find a way to topple Wisconsin, towards the end of this game, and Ohio State should break away and beat the Badgers. Now to the Rose Bowl, where UCLA played host to Colorado. Now, Colorado had highs and lows. They had a great start of the season, all that national attention, get ranked. And then once they got ranked, the bubble burst, and they came crashing towards the earth, getting blown out a couple times, blowing a 29-0 lead against Stanford to lose in overtime. Really kind of, deflates the tires of the automobile. And you have 4 flats. It's really hard to move forward. But can Sanders get those tires inflated, replaced, to get this team moving forward? Because I think them getting to a bowl game will be a huge step. Huge step. I don't think they're quite there yet. But they only need 2 more wins, so win 2 of the last 5. It's possible. It is possible. And if they both just kind of go, try and do a game at a time, they should have the ways of doing that. Shadir Sanders has been phenomenal running that Coach Prime's offense. Over 2,400 yards passing and 21 touchdowns in the air and only 3 picks. That's pretty good. You look at the other side, Steele, the Bruins running back, almost 600 yards and 6 touchdowns. He's good for almost 100 yards a game and a touchdown. If they get that type of performance from him again, it will definitely dictate the game, because a slow, methodical pace keeps the Buffs' offense off the field. And then they have to hurry up and rush and try to hurry up and score, which makes them make mistakes. Then you say defense could take advantage of. And you say defense is no joke. Look what they always goes back to that Utah game. They only allowed 1 offensive touchdown in that game, and Utah is a decent offense as well. So right now the Buffaloes are favored by 16.5. No, 14 the most, but still will go. What did I say? The Buffaloes, the Bruins are favored by 16.5. No. I think it's going to be no more than 14, but I'm going UCLA as well. And one you probably won't get much fanfare over. It's a Sun Belt matchup over there in Virginia between Old Dominion and James Madison. James Madison ranked for the first time in the FBS Bowls in their only 2nd season. They're undefeated. They tried for a waiver to make themselves eligible for the postseason. NCAA said no. Still think it's kind of wrong if a program makes the transition up. I say, yeah, 1 year probation, and then next year they're eligible. Especially when they're vying for the conference championship and having a phenomenal season. The fact they're not being allowed to participate is just a travesty to what the team's doing. And Old Dominion is going to be an interesting game because this team likes to fight. They find themselves in knockdown, drag-out matches. They had Virginia Tech on the ropes, but they left them to come back. But they're just a feisty team. and there definitely won't be an easy out. But I think it's just too much weapons on the Duke side. I mean, McLeod and Callaway are a dynamic duo for James Madison. Should have relatively ease to go forward. James Madison's favored by 20.5. I mean, I don't think it's going to be quite that much. I think Old Dominion will definitely keep them honest. And we'll try to pump the brakes a bit on that one. 14, maybe 16, but definitely 14. But I'll definitely go James Madison as well to continue their undefeated streak. Then we have to Tucson, where Oregon State comes into town to take on the feisty Wildcats, who went up to Washington State a couple weeks ago and surprised the nation, except for this guy. I called for that shellacking the Wildcats put on Oregon State. Or, excuse me, put that shellacking on Washington State. Their next team is Oregon State, and this is the team they want to put shellacking on. Not going to be easy out. Ugalali is a definitely a phenomenal quarterback himself, depending on which quarterback they run in Arizona. I mean, either or. Doesn't really seem to matter which one runs that offense. They do extremely well. The defense is definitely going to be poised for another key matchup in this magnitude to topple another potential team's Pac-12 hopes. Oregon State being a 3-1 at conference play, a loss here will definitely hurt them, but puts Arizona in the running at 2-2. So, and this is Pac-12 play. They love to do this to each other. Oregon State's favored by 3 right now. Embrace the chaos. I'm going to Wildcats. It's going to be a close game. I really do. I would not surprised this one goes into overtime, but I do think the Wildcats will edge out the Beavers in this one. But I'm not 100% sure on this one, so I could already take the L here. I mean, like I said, I'm going for 8-4, so I'm going to say I'm going to have 4 losses anyway, so this could be one of them. But I'm still taking Arizona in this one. And the last game of the docket, we're going back out to the Mountain West, and we're heading out to Central Valley as Fresno State will play host to UNLV. Both schools are 6-1. UNLV is undefeated in conference play. Of course, they've only had 3 conference games. Fresno State's 2-1. Shocking what UNLV is doing right now. No one's really giving them much attention because of the UNLV. When's the last time UNLV was a good football program? That was when I think Randall Cunningham was the quarterback, and not many people remember that guy. He's a quarterback. He was a quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he used to be a very mobile quarterback as well. But their game against Colorado State, which I called for Colorado State to beat them, and they almost did because they gave UNLV more they could handle, but they couldn't stop them from scoring a game-winning drive. I don't think we'll have the same luck against Fresno State. Fresno State is a very tenacious team, very well coached, very well recruited, talented, rich, very disciplined. I think they'll find ways to put themselves out there. I think Keene will find ways to throw the rock around. Almost 1,700 yards passing with 15 touchdowns. Sherrard should have more emphasis on the running attack. I think it's what Fresno State really needs to do, is try to emphasize on that, because he's over 400 yards rushing. He should have more. So they try to establish more of that running attack, limit the effectiveness of the UNLV passing attack. Ensure Wright doesn't get as much touches, but Fresno State's favored by 8.5. 3. I'm going with 3 on this one. I will give it to Bulldogs as well, but it's going to be a lot closer than 8.5. And there you go. Those are my 12 games. There's a couple of other ones that I was talking about doing, but I don't want to get up to 14. I think Troy and Texas State should be an interesting one out there in Sunbelt, over there in San Marcos. Miami and Ohio was another one I was really looking at trying to do as well, going back into MAC Nation. Try to see if I can redeem myself from the previous week when I called for Miami to beat Toledo, and it was the other way around. It is what it is. I mean, there's not much you can do about that one. Another good one to watch out for is Oklahoma and Kansas. Kansas right now is going the wrong direction, drifting wrong, but maybe they upset Oklahoma. So that's another game to kind of watch out for. But, like I said, that's 12. I don't go up to 14, 15, 16 games. I want to keep it at 12 and keep those 12 that I find interesting. But hey, let me know which game you're looking forward to coming up. Like I said, there's quite a few interesting ones this Saturday. That Florida-Georgia game should be a dandy. You also got the Textile Bowl as well between NC State and Clemson. That's the reason why I picked that game. And the battle right now in Colorado between Air Force and Colorado State should be very good in the Mountain West. But let's mix it up. Comments down below. Keep it civil. Keep it friendly. And if you like my content, please hit a thumbs up. It really pleases you two guys. Really help promote this video out to the ether and gets more eyes to this magnificent face. If you like my content, my corny jokes, would you click that subscribe button? About 9% of you not subscribed. It's completely free. Once you subscribe, make sure you click that bell icon, turn on notification. Next time I post any more content on my channel. And I'll see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.